So I've been kind of soul searching recently. I've had a lot of free time. And so aside from kind of like running a lot and going to the gym as much as possible and like trying to eat as best I can, part of it's like included an analysis of kind of the tools I'm using, whether it's, what technology or the actual system tools themselves. So I talked about this yesterday. I found a tool called Types, which like obliterates the utility given to you by LaTeX. It's just so much more minimal, so much more simple. And so unfortunately, one of the things that I was so used to doing was using a package called Beamer, which is LaTeX way of handling presentations. And I was kind of distressed because I was like, well, how does Types do that? And it turns out it does it, and it does it really well. So let's go into that. So, all right. So here we are. So first order of business is we need a file. Same as always. It's going to be like a type file. So we're just going to call that like slides for video.type. Boom. And so if we just start like typing, like Bob, and try to compile that, we're going to get just like a normal document, right? Actually, a better way to compile this is actually kind of a nitpick I have. Let's open a new tab. If you're keeping up with like Lukesmith's Void Rice and how compiling there works, it runs like LaTeX MK, and it produces this directory system with all your errors and everything, but then it gets cleared out. And it's just like this giant, massive, slow system. This is what Types does. We're going to do this so that it actually just updates in the background. So you don't have to use enter or whatever you would use on Linux. It's just TYPST watch. And then we called it slides for video.type. And boom. It's just going to compile for us in the background. So every change I make, so like if I come here and I just go like put text in and I save it, it'll automatically be there. It's super fast. It's almost as fast as if you're using like groff or something like that. All right, but we want a presentation. So we're gonna use what is called, I don't know how to actually say this. It's called Touying, which is Chinese, I think, for like projection is what the documentation says. It's really easy to just get it in. We're just gonna do import, and it's gonna be like this. Preview, oh my gosh, look at that. So one thing that's actually really awesome is that, and we want Touying, but you need to actually like choose the version. In this case, we're going to choose the most recent one, which is 0.7.4, and then just like that. So boom, we have it loaded. But as soon as you see, like if we compile it, it's actually already compiling it in the background here. You'll notice we added it, but there's no slides. It's still like a normal document. It's because we have to enable a theme. There's a couple of themes available to us. And what's great is if you're using like an auto, like linter, Types works really well with that. So I'm using TinyMist, I think is what it's called. So we're just going to import, and it will list them for us, themes dot, and it lists everything we can do. We're just gonna start with simple. So simple. And then boom, everything that's in it. And you'll notice it's compiled, but still no slides. It's because now we need to actually like tell it what we want it to look like. So no matter what theme you're working with, we're gonna do show, followed by simple. So whatever the theme name is, dash theme, width, and then in this case, we're gonna do aspect ratio 16:9, just to start out with, okay? And boom, compiled. There we go, we got slides now. And you'll notice like we set this as our title here, and it just pulls it from here. The syntax is super simple. And look at that, it's already fetching it through. One thing though that I want to point out is that if you wanted to do like 4:3, which I think my MacBook screen I think is almost 4:3, you can actually do that. It's totally legal. We're gonna keep them 16:9. So we now have slides and everything. And you'll notice here, like if I set another title, I think like a subtitle here is a subsection, like testing, and then I need to save it. Yeah, it automatically makes a new slide. So yeah, they're automatically new slides and they're automatically numbered and everything. And what's really cool about Touying is that it uses, there's a couple options that you have for actually like emulating LaTeX pausing like slide system. And as far as I understand it, like I think Touying is the best at doing it. you just do pause. It's as simple as that. So if I wanted to say like, here's an equation, I can do that, pause, and then it uses the native math system, which is a lot like LaTeX. It's actually virtually identical. Not as many backslashes though. So if I wanted to do like an integral from A to B of like f of x. Okay, this is like a huge gripe I have against LaTeX. It doesn't have an actual like, so when you're formatting an integral, normally like what variable you are integrating by, it's like dx. Well, let's say we're integrating over x, which we are here. The d should actually be in normal font, not italic. But LaTeX, there's no easy way to do that. You have to like escape it. In this, it's easy. You just go diff. All right, it's already included. So diff x, and here's an equation, and then boom. See, it's perfect, and it didn't italicize it. The proper way to do it. And another thing I think I should point out, I'm not using Zathura anymore. I'm using Cioec just because it has a couple more features that Zathura doesn't have. For example, there's a presentation mode built in. I think it's set to, it's like toggle presentation mode is F5, but it puts it in presentation, back and forward, work just fine. And also here's something that's really cool. You see the status bar at the bottom? You can also toggle that. I don't think it's bound, but it's just toggle status. Yeah, gets rid of it. So you can like full screen it and everything for presentation. Literally perfect. But let's say, for example, this is pretty simple, right? Let's say this is my title slide. It's kind of barren. There are other themes that actually let you toggle that. So we're gonna use a theme called, instead of simple, it's called university. All right, and now that we've updated it here, we have to come back down here and change simple to university, right? And now we're gonna expand this out. So we're gonna use a thing called config info, and that gives us a lot of flexibility. So for example, if I wanted to set the title, well, I want that to be Bob, right? And author, well, that's just gonna be, me, Max. And it also lets you set a logo, which is really useful for like your university logo. And Cioec makes this, Types makes this so easy. You don't have to like load a separate package for putting graphics in, it just works. So we're gonna put an image in, and it's a lot like Markdown syntax actually. So I have this in my downloads folder. It needs a string. Downloads, it's like, I went to RPI, so I'm gonna use the RPI logo. And you can then set the, my fault, these should be parentheses. There we go. And you can just set the width. So I'm gonna do 1 inch, the height, 1 inch. It's that simple. And now if I come back, I have a nice title slide. You'll notice down here, like my name is there, the title's there, my logo is in the top right. It's just like unbelievably awesome. And if I wanted to render like an additional title slide on top of that, like this was just the first header. To get a full title slide with all this on it, you just do this. Title slide, you just call it, and boom, you have a title slide. It's just so much better than Beamer ever was. It even has, the docs are really extensive. Like this is the website for the package. It goes through like all these examples of how to theme things. And if you're familiar with like ticks in LaTeX, there's a thing called, I don't even know how to say that, but sets or CETZ, I'm not sure. But it goes over how to like, you can actually make all these diagrams work with pausing natively. You can even get columns in here, and it looks just like LaTeX, but it's so much more minimal. It's like, there's really no reason anymore to use, Beamer if you don't have to. This is just so much better, in my opinion, based on my experience with it. So, I don't know. Hopefully you found that useful. All right. Peace.